4:43 in the morning. I could not sleep. I woke up around 3. I made a pot of coffee. I have a lot of things that I want to do today and a lot of things that I said that I was going to do in the last video that I'm actually going to do today. But I figured since I can't really sleep and I have been meaning to film a lot of these anyway, I asked over on Instagram a couple days ago for some questions from you guys. And I'm going to answer a few of them here. I'll probably answer a few like throughout the day as I'm doing things just to kind of get through as many as I can. Okay, so I'm going to start out with this question because I feel really bad because it's more of a costume-based question. I really want to answer it. Jean Crosses Universes asks, how did you get rid of the DCON logo on the Sylvie gloves? Sorry if it's in your videos. Don't feel bad, it's not in the videos yet. I haven't put that out yet, but what she's talking about for reference is the Sylvie gloves, and they are these motocross gloves. And as you can see here, they have this logo here, this DCON logo. All that I did to remove this logo was I took a heat gun and on a very, very low setting, just pass over it lightly. Make sure you're constantly moving your heat gun back and forth so you're not burning the fabric. Side note, I did end up burning a little bit of one of my gloves fabric, but it's okay because it's kind of like, you can't really tell. And it'll start to peel away. Whatever glue they use to put this logo on there is not very good. And yeah, that was all that it took to get those off, and I ended up taking, oh, how convenient. But I ended up taking some 91% isopropyl alcohol and then just with a Q-tip kind of scrubbed over it just to get any of the last glue left, and then I just painted over it a little bit with some fabric paint because you can kind of still see the outline there, but from far away you won't even be able to tell. So hopefully that helps you out. This next question is actually kind of related to this video, and it's from Sleepy Clint. He asks, how can we find you at DragoncOn? Now, I'm not like having a meetup or anything like that. First of all, me of all people, no, I do not need that. Second of all, this is my first DragoncOn, so I'm not gonna lie, I don't quite know the lay of the land. However, I will be posting a cosplay lineup sometime this week or next, and that has actually changed drastically since just the last video, and I'll get to that later on the video. I would prefer not to do hugs, just because of the state of the world and things like that, so we can awkwardly be like, hello, how are you? Yeah, like definitely if you see me, please say hello, and I mean that doubly so because for those of you that don't know, I do have to wear glasses, and the reason I don't wear them in videos is because I'm not very good at lighting and there's always a glare on my glasses and it always bothers me. So I just kind of talk blindly to the camera and hope that I'm in focus and all that stuff. Whenever I'm at conventions, I don't wear contacts. I can't wear contacts. I had an issue years ago where I had an issue with a contact in my eye and it caused an infection and all this stuff, and I had to have surgery and blah blah blah, and I don't deal with contacts. And that's a whole other topic where I could talk about why people like get mad at cosplayers that don't have the right colored eyes, and that's such a privilege to be mad about something like that. But anyways, that's another video. All of that to say, I probably can't see you. So if I don't notice you or if I don't see you, please don't take offense to that because I probably just can't see you. I think I'm gonna answer one more question here and then I'm gonna go read a book or something and try and take a quick nap because I'm starting to feel a little tired. The Vode and Foundry asks, if you could start over learning how to sew, how would you start? I would not start by learning how to sew with stretch fabric, because the very first thing that I learned how to sew, or I don't even know if you could technically call it learning because it was a catastrophe, I was sewing gloves for my Tracer cosplay back in 2017. And for those of you in the sewing know-how, you know that for stretch fabrics, you really need to have a stretch needle. I did not have that. I also did not have a walking foot or any of the other types of things that allow you to make it easier to sew stretch fabric. So it took me, oh my god, I can't even remember. I know that my husband has a picture of me trying to sew those gloves, and it was absolutely terrible. I was so stressed and I couldn't figure out why I was so stressed until I realized after the fact that, hey, maybe you should have like tried sewing something out of cotton or some type of more stable fabric than stretch fabric. So I would probably go back and, you know, maybe not start with such a hard fabric to sew. I did not take a nap, but I did go to Starbucks this morning, which I basically is the same thing. It's really not the same thing. Make sure you get sleep. Anyways, I'm on my lunch break from work and I'm just doing a little bit of Sylvie work, and I put the Velcro on the shoulder pads on the actual, like, what is this? Turtleneck. I sewed that on And now I am just getting ready to, oh, I also sewed on some Velcro to the ends of the shoulder pads on the ends here, and I'll show you how those connect a little bit later. But I need to put this Velcro on the bottom here, and I think I'm just going to attach it with some hot glue. I figured while I'm doing that, waiting for my hot glue gun to, actually let me get my hot glue gun now. So I figured while I'm hot gluing these, I will answer a couple more questions while I'm doing that, because this needs to heat up. It would help if I turned it on. So Arizona Aviator had a very good question, and it is, what do you personally find to be the hardest aspect of cosplay? I honestly think that the hardest part about cosplay is the whole imposter syndrome of it all, because cosplay is like 30 hobbies in a trench coat at one time parading around as one hobby. Different cosplayers, you know, do armor or sewing or leatherwork or so many different things. There's people that make costumes out of cardboard, and it sometimes can be very overwhelming, especially to new people, to be like, how do I get into this hobby? Because they see so many different ways in order to make something, and then it's almost like this decision paralysis. And I've even experienced it myself, where I'm looking at a costume, I'm looking up tutorials for that costume, and people are doing it many different ways, and I can't figure out what I personally want to do. As someone who's been doing this for like 5 years, I can only imagine what it's like to new people in the hobby. And especially because a lot of people, at least from my experience, are afraid to start because there's just so many different ways in which you can start. You can start with closet cosplay. You can start by 3D printing an entire Iron Man suit on your 3D printer. Like, you could start by crafting a like T-50 power armor out of foam. You know, there's so many different ways to go about it, and I think people get stopped up in that, and then they just don't focus on the just act of trying something new and trying to hone in onto one specific thing that they're trying to learn. I'm always trying to beat that imposter in my head that's telling me that I'm not doing something good enough, or that this video that I'm gonna put out is just, you know, there's no new information in it. Why am I even making this video? For me, it's the whole imposter syndrome of it all, because of just the plethora of things that we can do in order to make these costumes. It's a blessing and a curse. Okay, let me actually like hot glue something here instead of just babbling my whole freaking mouth off. But yeah, this is smart. Yeah, let me tell you, don't hot glue your stuff like I'm doing this. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, and this next one is from Beebles. I like your username. They ask, do you have any cosplays that you regret making? That's a good one too. So I don't necessarily have a cosplay that I regret making, but I have one that I regret wearing, and that would be my Tracer cosplay that I wore in 2017 to my very first CatsuCon. Now, I don't regret wearing it necessarily because I had a bad time in it. I had a great time. That's kind of why I go back to CatsuCon every single year. I did not really research how to wear wigs. That was the very first wig that I had heavily styled. I did all the spiky bits and everything myself, and it was a trip and a half to make that. I didn't realize that there are different sizes of wig cap, like the actual cap of the wig, not the thing that you put underneath it. I realized that I need a larger one. Well, I didn't do that for the specific wig that I bought, and I had a very small size wig. So whenever I wore it, the first day, I wore it so tightly around my head. I remember having to take it off like really quickly at the end of the night, and I just kind of threw it in the corner because my head hurt so bad. And whenever I took it off, I ripped, like, I don't know if you can see, there's this little like half moon kind of area here. I ripped the hair from here forward off, and to this day it still is kind of like sparse up there. It took about a year and a half or almost 2 years to grow back, because I actually was shaving it for a little bit because I just didn't know what to do. And then I eventually got bangs to cover it up and, you know, let it grow in naturally. I wouldn't say that I regret making that cosplay, but I definitely regret not researching more about wig sizes, because my poor hairline suffered the consequences of that one. The last question that I'm going to answer, because I feel like this might be a long answer, is from Steph plus Verb. I am so excited to see you at DragonCon next week. And she asks, how has your social media break been? And yeah, I have actually been taking a social media break. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted something back on August 1st indicating that I was basically taking a break from social media and that I wouldn't be posting as much on there. I had a list of my own personal like rules, you could say, of my, you know, stepping away from social media. Essentially what it boiled down to is that I deleted TikTok, I deleted Twitter and Facebook, I deactivated Twitter and Facebook, and I also took a step back from Instagram. However, I am allowing myself to kind of get back into Instagram a little bit just because with DragonCon coming up, I don't really consider YouTube social media. I know some people may, but with my rules, I didn't consider it social media, so that's just how it went. I have really been enjoying it, and it's kind of funny because I remember in the beginning, I've written a little bit every day that I've been doing this, and in the beginning it was kind of hard because there were these moments that I was working on stuff. Like I was working on Sylvie all month, and there were times where I wanted to share a work in progress photo, or I just wanted to share something really silly. Like I think I even wrote down that I was really excited about the fan that I bought for my Peloton, and I really wanted to tweet about it. And whenever I think about it, I'm just like, why were you even thinking about that? Why is that in your like a thought that you had? I've really noticed a lot of things about myself during this time, and like the main catalyst for why I started doing this was because my husband and I went camping a week or so before August began, and I spent like 10 hours on TikTok that weekend. Like 10 hours. We were freaking camping. I mean, it was raining like the entire time, but it's still, I should not have been on TikTok for 10 hours, and for me, TikTok was the absolute worst. TikTok is a really crappy app whenever you get down to it. Like, don't be wrong, there's some great stuff on there, like there's some great tips and things like that, but that app is mean. Like, people on that app are just very, very mean. And you know, you could come at me and be like, oh, you can't handle the internet. No, I can handle it. I just choose not to for my own mental health, because I don't need 12-year-olds yelling at me because I've got the rangefinder on the wrong side of my Rex helmet whenever they, you know, haven't come to realize that a lot of people shoot in selfie mode on TikTok and everything's reversed. Like, hello, we are in 2021. You should kind of know that by now. TikTok rant aside, I didn't like how I was consuming TikTok because, you know, the app is meant for you to just completely just zone out and just keep swiping and swiping and swiping, and I could feel my attention span just growing smaller and smaller and smaller, and I was like, I gotta stop. Like, I gotta get off of this thing. And you know what's crazy is ever since deleting it, I have not had the desire to pick it up at all, like to re-download it at all. And another tangent, I'm sorry if this is gonna be long, but I'm really tired of seeing like posts and stuff like that being like, this is how I blew up on TikTok and this is how you can blow up on TikTok. Are people stopping to realize what they're gonna do if they blow up on TikTok? Because I don't think a lot of people are equipped to handle that. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with wanting an audience, there's nothing wrong with wanting a following and things like that. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel. I would like for people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's nothing wrong with that. However, just this increase in people like telling everyone else how they got this following and all this stuff, and I'm like, but did you ever, it's kind of like that quote from Jurassic Park, like, you know, your scientists were so concerned with, let me look it up, my husband's gonna kill me because I don't know it off by heart. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether they could, they didn't stop to think that they should, you know? It's like, take a moment, step back, and think to yourself, do you really want to have 1 million followers? Do you really want to have that pressure? Now I'm just remembering all of these like feelings I had about TikTok. But long story long, Instagram, I have realized I do really need in my like workflow of doing stuff on YouTube. I interact with people a lot in the direct messages. I love checking in on my friends' stories and seeing what they're up to. It's been going pretty well, and I will have a full dedicated video to like my whole 30-day process of going through it and how it felt during different days and stuff. I've been reading a lot of books. I've been, exercising a lot more. I've, just been kind of allowing myself to be bored too. I've also been able to put out more videos on YouTube with the added time of just not scrolling on social media. So okay, the battery was like, we're done here. Please stop talking. I am just fascinated with how social media kind of affects us, in different ways. And I'm going to be putting out a couple of videos on it in the future, and hopefully you will like them as well. But where was I going with that train of thought that before my camera so rudely cut me off? Oh yeah, I don't want to just kind of, categorize my social media break by saying all the things I was able to do, because it really has helped so much mentally. Like, I just have so much more space to be creative. I have had so many ideas come to me at just random moments, and I have written so many scripts during this month, like just because I've allowed myself to have thoughts come into my brain and come out of my hands like on the keyboard. It's been pretty crazy. Like, I was kind of trying to think to myself like, wow, was I really that distracted earlier on? Like, it just feels like I'm constantly coming up with new ideas for stuff. There has been one thing during this process that I have not been able to replace, and that is just the act of picking up my phone and just scrolling social media. Like, I cannot scroll social media. Well, one, because I don't have it on my phone other than Instagram, and two, like, I don't have anything to just mindlessly scroll. So I almost feel like it's been very hard for me to turn my brain off, and that may be why I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning today. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we just want to scroll Instagram and zone out and just not really pay attention to what's going on and just let our brain rest for a little bit. I haven't really found a good replacement for that yet. I've been trying it with like YouTube videos and just, you know, mindlessly watching, you know, YouTube videos, but then I always end up down these rabbit holes of things where I'm learning things and whatever. Maybe I just need to accept that that's how my brain works. But yeah, that was the one drawback, but honestly, it's not that huge of a drawback. It's probably a good thing in the grand scheme of things that, you know, I'm not mindlessly scrolling social media. Those are my thoughts. God, I don't even want to look at how long that video file was. Oh yeah, and I did put the Velcro on the back of these shoulder pieces. It took me like 2 seconds, but hey, you know, why spend 2 seconds doing something whenever you can spend like 25 minutes answering some Q&A questions? It was fun. I really enjoyed it. Well, it's a thing that I can wear now. And it's what, Tuesday? So looking pretty good. Oh, and that reminds me. Okay, let me sit down really quick. So my DragonCon lineup has kind of changed because I've decided to not do some photo ops that I had originally wanted to do whenever I went out there. I have my reasons, and I decided to get refunds for them, and everything's squared away with that. But I had photo ops for Tracy Helfer on Friday. She is the voice of Edie in Mass Effect, and she also is in Battlestar Galactica as well. She's Caprica 6 in that. I was also going to get a picture with the Adamas, Edward James Olmos, and Jamie Barber on Monday, and I was going to be in a Starbuck cosplay for that. However, because I'm not doing this, like, I'm not doing these photo ops anymore, I decided that I'm no longer going to bring a Starbuck cosplay. I'm no longer going to really work on it. Kind of like frees up a lot of my time. I don't need to make that silly, you know, tank top, backwards tank top anymore. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to bring Commander Shepard. Again, like, I'm going to be looking at this in the future and just be like, just make up your damn mind, you know? But right now, what I'm thinking is going to be my lineup is I'm going to wear Sylvie on Thursday as well as Friday. And then Saturday, I'm wearing Sasha from Attack on Titan. And then Sunday, I am wearing Melina in a Black Widow group. And then Monday is kind of up in the air. I might wear Sylvie again. Maybe I'll bring a casual Commander Shepard. I don't know yet. So I've kind of got an up in the air day. And to be honest with you, I'm feeling kind of good about it. I mean, it's been so long since we've all been to conventions, and it's been so long since we've gotten to like see people, and I feel like I'm just going to be very overwhelmed at DragonCon because I know it's a very large convention, even with all of, like, you know, paring down of ticket sales, and it's going to be half of the, you know, usual people that go there. It's going to be like 40,000 instead of 80,000. I mean, still a lot of people, but you know, I just feel like I'm going to be very overwhelmed. There's a lot of things that I want to do. My husband and I want to do paint and takes, and that's where you go to miniature painting little classes, and they're like all day, and you can basically paint a mini and you can take it, and I am going to paint my first mini, and we'll see how that goes. I'm just kind of liking the idea of just having a very chill cosplay weekend. I know a lot of people go hard at DragonCon, but I'm just like, I'm looking at my cosplays and I'm like, they're all basically just clothing. I mean, this is like the most armor that I'm gonna be wearing, and I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be nice to just be, you know, have fun again. And that's what I really enjoyed at the Black Widow premiere, was just, you know, being around my friends and having fun in costume and just getting to be crazy nerds with everybody. So yeah, I think we're looking like DragonCon lineup's gonna be a little bit low-key. I mean, I didn't even plan that. My DragonCon lineup is gonna be a little low-key, like Loki, like Sylvie, like the Loki show, that the TVA is the Marriott Marquis. I'm gonna end this vlog here because I know I've got a lot of footage with all of the Q&A stuff. I will definitely answer some more questions in later vlogs, but yeah, that was my DragonCon prep for today. It was a whole lot of me waking up early and a whole lot of me ending on some really bad puns, so I will see you guys next time. Bye!